Every morning before the world begins to pull at you, before the noise of emails, notifications, and responsibilities, there exists a sacred window of time before 10 a.m. This is where the trajectory of your entire day is either designed by you or dictated by your environment. You see, the human body is a record of the past. When you wake up and immediately repeat the same habits, think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, your nervous system simply replays yesterday. And yesterday's self cannot create a new future. But here's the opportunity: when you rise in the morning, you are closest to the subconscious mind. The door between the conscious and unconscious is open. This is the moment to rewire, to install a new program, to embody a new self. Before 10 a.m., you must pause. You must become intentional. Begin by quieting the body and focusing the mind. Breathe deeply, allow stillness to open space. Then choose the thoughts and emotions you want to carry into the day. Don't wait for success, health, or love to arrive before you feel gratitude. Strength and inspiration create those states first, and let your biology follow. Visualize the future you are stepping into. Speak it internally until it feels more real than the past you've been living. Hold it long enough, and your body begins to believe it. That's not philosophy, it's neuroplasticity. Your brain literally wires to match the intention you set. And here's the truth: if you can change your internal state before 10 a.m., the rest of the day no longer owns you, you own it. Instead of reacting, you're creating. Instead of reliving, you're rewriting. So tomorrow morning, don't just wake up to the old you. Wake up as the architect of your life. Take that sacred time before 10 a.m. and align your mind, body, and emotions with the future you've decided to live. Because when you master your mornings, you don't just change your day, you change your destiny. Energy is created, not inherited. And this is one of the most powerful truths to understand if you want to live an intentional and extraordinary life. Many people wake up in the morning believing that the way they feel is simply a continuation of yesterday, or that their mood is dictated by what happened last week, last month, or even years ago. They open their eyes and immediately recall the problems in their life, the stresses at work, the unresolved challenges, and in that instant, their body and mind are already rehearsing the past. Their energy is not consciously chosen. It is borrowed from old memories and old emotional states. But here is the truth: every single morning, you are given the opportunity to create energy. You are not at the mercy of yesterday's emotions, nor are you destined to inherit the same state of being day after day. The body may be conditioned to live in familiar patterns, but the mind holds the power to interrupt them. When you begin your day by creating energy rather than waiting for it to come from external circumstances, you take ownership of your future. Think about it when you wake up and immediately reach for your phone, scroll through social media, or open your inbox. You're not creating energy. You're consuming it. You are allowing external inputs to dictate how you feel. A stressful message or a reminder of something you must do can instantly trigger anxiety, frustration, or overwhelm. And suddenly your body is producing stress hormones that set the tone for the day. That energy is reactive, not creative. On the other hand, when you pause, breathe, and deliberately set an intention for how you want to feel, you are instructing your biology to follow your mind. Energy is not something you wait for. It is something you generate through conscious attention and deliberate practice. The science behind this is profound. Your thoughts generate emotions, and emotions are nothing more than chemical signals in the body. When you think empowering thoughts in the morning, when you focus on gratitude, love, and purpose, your brain begins to release neurotransmitters and hormones that shift your entire physiology. Serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin flood your system, and suddenly your body feels safe, alive, and energized. That's not accidental. It's a direct response to your choice to create energy. By contrast, if you allow your mind to dwell on fear, worry, or frustration, your body produces stress chemistry like cortisol and adrenaline, keeping you locked in survival. The difference between the two states is not luck or circumstance, it's conscious creation. What makes the morning such a critical time is that your subconscious mind is highly receptive. The brain operates in slower wave patterns, meaning it is open to suggestion. This is why the first energy you choose to embody becomes the foundation of your day. If you choose stillness, gratitude, and clarity, you condition your body to carry those states with you. If you choose distraction, negativity, or stress, the body will memorize that too. So every morning you are literally training your nervous system, either towards creation or repetition. Now imagine what happens when you make this a daily discipline. Instead of waking up and waiting for coffee, external validation, or someone else's approval to feel good, you learn to produce elevated energy on demand. Over time, this becomes not just a morning ritual, but a new identity. You are no longer a person who drags yesterday's emotions into today. You are someone who generates enthusiasm, clarity, and vitality every morning. That energy compounds. People around you feel it, opportunities respond to it, and your mind begins to see possibilities that would have been invisible if you were still stuck in survival mode. Energy is the currency of creation. If you want to build a future that is different from your past, you must learn to create the energy of that future in your body today. Every morning, before the demands of the world begin, ask yourself, what energy am I going to create right now? Am I going to choose fear or am I going to choose power? Am I going to recycle the old me or generate the energy of the person I am becoming? The answer to that question determines not only how your day unfolds, but how your life evolves. Mind before matter is not just a phrase, it is a principle that explains how the invisible creates the visible. Every single thing that exists in your life today, whether it's the career you're in, the relationships you have, or even the way you perceive yourself, began as a thought. Matter is simply the materialization of mind. Yet most people live in the opposite direction. They allow matter, meaning their environment, circumstances, and conditions, to dictate their mind. They wake up in the morning and instantly check their reality: the same house, the same body, the same bills, the same issues. And by observing the same external world, they think the same thoughts as yesterday. Those thoughts produce the same feelings, and those feelings confirm the same reality. It becomes a cycle where matter controls mind, and life looks like a repeating loop rather than a new creation. But when you begin to understand that mind comes before matter, you realize the profound opportunity that exists in the morning. The moment you wake up, your mind is at its most suggestible state. Instead of allowing the world outside of you to set the program, you have the ability to choose the frequency, the vibration, and the reality you want to tune into. When you intentionally direct your mind toward possibility, vision, and creation, matter has no choice but to follow over time. Neuroscience has proven this repeatedly. Mental rehearsal, visualization, and focused thought activate the same neural networks as real experience. The brain does not know the difference between what is vividly imagined and what is actually happening. By practicing mind before matter, you are literally instructing your nervous system to become the person you wish to be before physical evidence shows up. This is why the morning is not just a routine, it is a rehearsal of your future. If you take a few minutes to focus on who you want to be, to picture yourself already living in the reality you are designing, you are teaching your body emotionally what that future feels like. This is crucial because thoughts alone are not enough. Thoughts combined with emotion create belief. And belief is what conditions the body to act in alignment with the mind. When your mind rehearses success and your body feels the joy of it in advance, you become a magnet for the very experiences you are imagining. You are no longer waiting for matter to change so you can feel differently. You are feeling differently, so matter must eventually change. Think of an athlete preparing for a big event. Before stepping onto the field, they close their eyes and mentally run through every movement, every detail of the performance. Their muscles fire as if they are actually doing it, even though they're sitting still. That is mind before matter in action. The brain is laying down the blueprint so the body can follow it with precision when the real moment comes. Now imagine applying that same principle to your own life, but instead of rehearsing a game, you are rehearsing a new career, a healthier body, or a more empowered self. The more you do it, the more real it becomes. The challenge is that most people spend their mornings unconsciously rehearsing their problems. They replay scenarios of stress, arguments, or limitations, and by doing so, they are programming their body to live in the past. The body becomes addicted to the chemical state of worry, frustration, or doubt, and that becomes their matter, what they physically experience all day long. But you are not meant to be a prisoner of old emotions. You are meant to be a creator. The act of choosing your mind before your matter is the act of reclaiming that power. When you wake up tomorrow, remember this: the world you see outside is a reflection of the world you nurture inside. If you don't like what matter is showing you, don't fight it. Go to the source. Align your mind with a vision greater than your current circumstances. Feel it, believe it, live it internally, and then watch as matter begins to reorganize around your new state of being. The order of creation is always mind before matter, and when you live this truth, you stop being a victim of your environment and start becoming the architect of your destiny. The body remembers yesterday, and this is one of the greatest challenges when it comes to true personal transformation. From the moment you wake up, your body has a tendency to default to what is familiar. It remembers the thoughts you thought yesterday, the emotions you felt, and even the behaviors you repeated, and it carries them forward as if they are part of your identity. This is because the body is not just flesh and bone. It is a highly intelligent system that has been programmed by years of repetition. Every time you think a thought, your brain fires neurons in a specific pattern, and when you repeat the thought enough times, the body memorizes it. Eventually, your body begins to feel the emotion before your mind even consciously thinks the thought. At that point, the body is running the program, and you are no longer living in the present. You are living in the past. This is why so many people wake up and within minutes feel the weight of old stress, anxiety, or doubt. It's not because the morning itself carries those emotions. It's because the body has learned to expect them. It wakes up and anticipates the same routine, the same coffee, the same commute, the same work challenges, the same conversations. As a result, the nervous system fires in the same way, producing the same chemistry, and you experience the same reality as before. Unless you interrupt this cycle, you spend each new day as nothing more than a repeat of the previous one. You are technically alive, but biologically and emotionally, you are reliving a memory. The way to break free is to realize that every morning offers you a gap between memory and possibility. When you first open your eyes, you have a choice to let the body pull you into yesterday or to use your mind to teach your body a new experience. The body resists at first because it craves the familiar, even if that familiar state is stress or unhappiness. But this is where discipline and awareness come in. Instead of reaching for your phone or diving straight into the routine that triggers old emotions, you can pause, breathe, and deliberately focus your attention on new thoughts. By holding those new thoughts long enough, you begin to feel new emotions, and those emotions send new signals to the body. With consistency, the body starts to learn this new state and eventually remembers it more than the old one. This is the essence of true change, teaching the body to experience a new future rather than dragging it through an old past. If your body has memorized fear, you must practice courage until courage feels more natural. If your body has memorized doubt, you must practice faith until faith becomes automatic. This is not about denying the past, but about refusing to let the past define the chemistry of the present moment. Every time you choose a new emotion and sustain it, you are literally rewiring your biology. New neural networks are formed, new hormones are released, and your body begins to anticipate a different kind of day. Imagine someone who has lived for years in stress. Their body has been bathing in cortisol daily, and their cells have adapted to it. When they try to feel peace, the body almost rejects it because it is unfamiliar. But if they persist practicing calmness, gratitude, and joy every morning, their body will gradually shift. It will stop craving stress and begin to crave balance. This is how the body can be trained to remember a new version of you. Transformation is not about forcing the world outside to change first. It's about training your body to let go of the old self and step into the new one. So when you wake up tomorrow, understand that your body is waiting for instructions. It will either play the tape of yesterday or it will be guided into a new future. The choice lies in whether you allow automatic emotions to take over or whether you consciously teach your body to feel something new. The body remembers yesterday, but you don't have to. By practicing awareness, intention, and consistency, you can create mornings that liberate you from repetition and anchor you into creation. Each time you do, the grip of the past weakens and the possibility of a new self grows stronger. Intention is magnetic, and the reason for this is deeply rooted in both the science of the mind and the energy of the body. When you wake up each morning, your brain is like an antenna, constantly sending and receiving signals. Most people begin their day with scattered thoughts, jumping from what they need to do to what they fear might happen, and this scattered energy produces very little change. It's like trying to tune into a radio station while spinning the dial rapidly. You'll never get a clear signal. Intention, however, is the act of tuning your mind to one frequency and holding it long enough for it to broadcast powerfully into both your biology and the field around you. That is why intention is not just a thought. It is a clear, directed signal that magnetizes the right circumstances, opportunities, and emotions towards you. The difference between a casual wish and a true intention is clarity and emotion. A wish is passive. It's hoping something will happen. Intention, on the other hand, is active. It is deciding what will happen and aligning your mind and body with it before any evidence appears. When you wake up in the morning and consciously set an intention for who you want to be, you are programming your nervous system to look for alignment throughout the day. Your brain begins to filter reality differently through a mechanism called the reticular activating system. If your intention is to experience gratitude, for example, your brain starts to notice things in your environment that confirm gratitude. If your intention is to embody confidence, your body begins to organize itself to stand taller, breathe deeper, and project that state. This is not magic. It is biology responding to the signal of your intention. But beyond biology, intention carries a vibrational quality. Every thought has an electromagnetic field. When you pair a clear thought with an elevated emotion, you amplify that signal. A thought without emotion is weak, but a thought charged with joy, gratitude, or love becomes magnetic. It sends out a frequency that begins to influence not only your internal state, but also your external reality. People are drawn to you differently, synchronicities begin to occur, and opportunities seem to align. This is not coincidence. It is resonance. The world responds to the energy you project, and intention is the mechanism by which you create that projection. This is why mornings are so important. When you wake up, your brain is naturally more malleable, operating in slower wave states, which means intentions set early in the day sink deeper into the subconscious. If you take just a few minutes before 10 a.m. to focus clearly on how you want to feel and what you want to embody, you create a neurological blueprint that your body carries throughout the day. Instead of drifting through random emotions, you move with direction. Instead of reacting to life, you begin shaping it. Consider the difference between someone who wakes up and immediately thinks, "I hope today goes well," and someone who wakes up and says, "Today I choose to live with calm strength and focus." The first person is passive, waiting for conditions to decide their state. The second person is proactive, declaring an inner reality that the outer world will eventually reflect. That declaration, when repeated consistently, becomes a habit, and habits form identity. This is how intention evolves from being a morning exercise into being the defining force of who you are. What makes intention magnetic is not only clarity and emotion, but also consistency. One morning of focused intention may shift your state temporarily, but weeks and months of deliberate intention can reshape your entire personality. Your brain begins to wire differently, your body begins to feel differently, and your reality begins to unfold differently. It's like training a muscle. At first it feels unfamiliar, but with practice it becomes second nature. Over time, you stop trying to remember to set an intention because living with intention becomes who you are. So every morning ask yourself, what do I intend to create today? Who do I intend to be? How do I intend to feel? Don't just think about it lightly. See it, feel it, embody it as if it has already happened. That act of alignment sends a powerful signal to your brain, your body, and the field of energy around you. And as you sustain that alignment, you will notice that intention doesn't just guide your day. It begins to shape your destiny. Intention is magnetic because it is the language of creation. And when you use it consciously, you are no longer hoping for change. You are commanding it into being. Elevated emotion fuels transformation, and this is where true change becomes embodied rather than intellectual. Most people think transformation happens when they learn something new or when they set a clear goal, but knowledge and intention alone are not enough. You can have the most detailed vision of your future, but if your body is stuck in the same emotional state it has memorized from the past, you will never fully step into that vision. This is because your thoughts are the electrical charge in the brain, and your emotions are the magnetic charge in the body. Together, they create the field that draws your experiences to you. If your thoughts are focused on success, but your emotions are rooted in doubt, fear, or unworthiness, your signal is incoherent. The mind is saying one thing, but the body is broadcasting another. Transformation only occurs when your thoughts and emotions are aligned, and that alignment is what we call elevated emotion. Elevated emotions are feelings like gratitude, joy, love, inspiration, and awe. These emotions are not tied to external circumstances, they are created internally. When you practice them in the morning, before the world has a chance to dictate how you feel, you are essentially teaching your body a new future. The body begins to believe it is already living in the reality your mind has envisioned, and this is when transformation accelerates. Elevated emotions change your chemistry. They shift your nervous system out of survival, where stress hormones dominate, and into creation, where growth hormones and feel-good chemicals flood your cells. This new internal environment tells every cell in your body that the future you desire is not something to wait for. It is something happening now. Gratitude, in particular, is one of the most powerful elevated emotions. When you feel gratitude for something that hasn't yet happened, you are conditioning your body to experience the future before it arrives. The body doesn't know the difference between real and imagined experiences. It only knows the emotion you are producing. By sustaining gratitude, you trick your biology into believing the future is already present. And this belief shifts your energy field. Over time, your external world begins to align with the state you are embodying internally. It's not simply positive thinking. It's rewiring your entire system. The challenge is that most people are addicted to lower emotions like stress, anger, and fear. These emotions are familiar, and the body craves them even though they are destructive. To shift into elevated emotion requires awareness and practice. At first, it may feel unnatural to sit in meditation and summon feelings of joy or love without a specific reason. But the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, elevated emotions are no longer something you try to create. They become your baseline state of being. When this happens, transformation is no longer temporary, it becomes permanent. Elevated emotion also changes the way you perceive reality. When you are in a state of joy, the same challenge that once looked overwhelming now appears manageable. When you are in gratitude, the same situation that once seemed empty now feels full of possibility. This is because elevated emotions expand perception. They open the mind, increase creativity, and allow you to see beyond the limitations of your past conditioning. On the other hand, survival emotions narrow perception. They make you focus on problems, threats, and obstacles, keeping you trapped in old patterns. By practicing elevated emotions every morning, you are literally training your brain to see a different reality. What makes elevated emotion so essential for transformation is that it creates momentum. Change does not happen in a straight line. It requires energy to break the inertia of the past. Elevated emotions provide that energy. They act like fuel for your vision, giving you the power to sustain new thoughts, new actions, and new habits. Without emotion, transformation feels like effort. With elevated emotion, transformation feels like inspiration. So when you wake up tomorrow, don't just think about the future you want to create, feel it. Step into gratitude as if it has already happened. Embrace joy as if you are already living it. Allow love to fill your body before anything external gives you a reason to feel it. The more you practice this, the more your body learns to live in that future state, and the more magnetic you become to the experiences that match it. Elevated emotion is the bridge between knowing and becoming, between intention and embodiment. It is the fuel that turns vision into reality and possibility into transformation. Morning ritual equals new identity, and this is perhaps the most practical and yet most profound truth when it comes to transformation. Every single day from the moment you wake up, you are rehearsing either the old self or the new self. Most people don't realize that the seemingly small actions they take in the morning, whether they choose to meditate or scroll through their phone, whether they pause to breathe or rush into stress, are not just habits. They are votes for an identity. The repetition of these choices wires the brain, conditions the body, and ultimately forms the sense of who you believe yourself to be. Identity is not created in one dramatic leap. It is forged in the quiet consistency of daily rituals. The body and mind crave familiarity, and that is why rituals are so powerful. They provide structure and signal to your nervous system what state to embody. If your ritual every morning is to wake up, rush, and stress, then your identity becomes that of someone who lives in survival, always chasing, always reacting. If your ritual every morning is to wake up, breathe deeply, Set intentions and practice elevated emotions, then your identity becomes that of someone who is conscious, deliberate, and creative. You can't separate who you are from what you repeatedly do. That's why a morning ritual is not just about productivity hacks or wellness routines. It is about deciding who you are becoming and embodying that decision consistently until it feels natural. The reason morning rituals are so impactful is that the early hours are when your brain is most impressionable. Coming out of sleep, your brain waves are slower, which means your subconscious mind is open. Whatever you feed it during this window becomes the foundation for your day. If you use that time to focus on your vision, practice gratitude, or align with your highest intentions, you are writing a new program into your subconscious. Over time, this program becomes automatic. What once felt like effort becomes effortless. That is the moment when the ritual has transformed into identity. You no longer need to remind yourself to meditate, to visualize, or to breathe. You do it because that is who you are. Think of anyone who has achieved mastery in their life. Whether it's an athlete, an artist, or a leader, they don't rely on motivation alone. They rely on ritual. The runner laces their shoes at dawn, not because they feel like it every day, but because their identity is, I am a runner. The writer sits at the desk each morning, not waiting for inspiration to strike, but because their identity is, I am a writer. Likewise, if you want to embody health, peace, success, or love, you must create rituals that align with that identity and repeat them every morning until they become inseparable from who you are. The beauty of a morning ritual is that it bypasses willpower. Willpower fades, but identity endures. When you consistently act in alignment with the future self you want to embody, your brain rewires, your body adapts, and eventually you no longer have to try to be that person. You simply are. This is why so many people fail when they focus only on goals. A goal is something external to achieve. An identity is who you are. Goals can be missed, but identity is lived daily through ritual. And when your rituals embody the qualities of your future self, transformation becomes inevitable. Over time, the compound effect of your morning ritual is astonishing. Each day may feel small, but together they create momentum. A few minutes of gratitude every morning becomes a life lived with appreciation. A few minutes of visualization every morning becomes a future that feels inevitable. A few moments of intention each morning become a life of clarity and purpose. Your ritual is a seed, and your identity is the tree that grows from it. So every morning before 10 a.m., remember that you are not just performing tasks, you are rehearsing who you are. Ask yourself, what identity do I want to live into today? Then design your ritual to align with it. If you want to be peaceful, create a ritual of silence. If you want to be strong, create a ritual of discipline. If you want to be abundant, create a ritual of gratitude. Over time, the ritual ceases to be something you do, and it becomes the very essence of who you are. Morning ritual equals new identity, and by honoring it consistently, you don't just change your mornings, you change your life.